Hello, my name is Dr. Ethan Greenwell. I'm 60 years old, with decades of experience and a lifelong dedication to bone health. Today, I want to share a story with you, not about a frightening disease, but about something so silent that many people ignore it for decades. Osteoporosis. I still remember one quiet Sunday afternoon at the clinic. I met Margaret, a 72-year-old woman, her forehead lined with pain from a hip ache she kept dismissing as just old age. She didn't seek help until she could no longer walk on her own. And the result? A hip fracture, because her bones had grown far too weak. What shocked me most wasn't only her story. Right now, in the United States, over 44 million people, aged 50 and older, are living with low bone density or osteoporosis. That's more than half of our middle-aged and older population. Think about it. It could be your neighbor, your sibling, or even yourself, facing that risk without realizing it. The danger is this: osteoporosis doesn't always announce itself. Even before a major fracture, the disease is silently eroding your bone structure until one small slip, one light fall, can change everything. According to the CDC, 1 in 2 women and 1 in 4 men over 50 will experience a fracture related to osteoporosis. This isn't some distant warning. It's happening all around us, every single day. So why do our bones keep losing more than they rebuild? The answer lies in biology. After about age 30, the cells that build bone, the osteoblasts, begin to slow down, while the cells that break down bone, the osteoclasts, take the lead. And for women after menopause, the sharp decline in estrogen speeds this imbalance dramatically. I often describe it as a construction site with too few builders and too many demolishers. The foundation weakens, and collapse becomes inevitable. I like to think of our bones as bridges, strong, steady, carrying us every day. But if those bridges aren't maintained with the right nutrition, healthy habits, and early detection, cracks will appear unnoticed, until one day, the bridge gives way. In this video, I'll take you on a journey through the lens of a doctor who spent his life caring for patients and their bone health. We'll uncover why osteoporosis is so common in America. The myths that put us at risk, like drinking milk, is enough. Or I'm still too young to worry about that. And we'll walk through practical steps you can take on. From bone-building foods, to exercise habits, to lowering risks, and knowing when it's time for a bone density scan. Along the way, I'll share real stories, like Margaret, or the 65-year-old man who suddenly needed a cane after a minor fall, and others who made small but powerful lifestyle changes that gave them stronger bones and stronger lives. And if you're thinking, it's not my time yet to worry about this, let me tell you, the best time to start is today. A strong foundation means building bridges that carry you into your later years with confidence, so that every stumble, every fall is something you can recover from, not something that breaks you. So come with me, I'm Dr. Ethan Greenwell, and together, let's explore the path to stronger bones and a stronger life. Understanding osteoporosis, the silent problem and its impact on Americans. Hello, my friends, I'm Dr. Ethan Greenwell, 60 years old, here in the United States, and today, I'd like to invite you to sit with me for a moment, not to talk about a loud, dramatic disease, but about what I often call the thief in the night, a silent intruder named osteoporosis. What is osteoporosis, and why do we call it the silent disease? Imagine a bridge that carries you safely every day. You don't see any cracks, you assume it's fine. And then one day, with just a small bump, maybe a sneeze, maybe a quick twist, that bridge collapses. That's osteoporosis. Your bones lose density, becoming fragile and thin, but you don't notice until the fracture happens. No fever, no warning pain, nothing obvious, which is why experts call it the silent disease, because it stays hidden until the very first break. The sobering reality in America. Pause with me here and picture this. 4 million Americans over 50 already live with osteoporosis. That's 2 million women, and 2 million men. On top of that, another 6 million have low bone mass, which is the early stage, the warning zone. If you're a woman over 65, your risk climbs to nearly 27%. For men the same age, it's around 5–6%. And here's what really makes us stop and think. 1 in 3 women over 50 and 1 in 5 men will suffer a fracture from osteoporosis in their lifetime. These aren't distant statistics. They're our neighbors, our siblings, our friends. A small but powerful story. Just a few weeks ago, I treated Robert, a 68-year-old man. He simply slipped in his backyard, nothing dramatic, and ended up with a broken finger. At first he laughed it off, saying, "Doc, I thought it was just a sprain." But in truth, it was his body's first whisper that his bones were weakening. Sometimes, it isn't the big pains that teach us, it's those little cracks, those quiet warnings. The common mistake we all make. Too often we tell ourselves, it's just a little backache, must be age, or I'll go see a doctor later when it gets worse. And many people assume that weak bones are simply an unavoidable part of getting older. But here's the truth. Bones don't have to grow weak with age. If we care for them the right way, they can stay strong far longer than we imagine. Let me ask you this. If you could hear the soft rustle of leaves falling, would you ignore the faint cracking sound of a bridge about to break? That's what happens when we dismiss those subtle signs from our bones. The lesson here, the real wisdom is simple. Small precautions today protect you for years to come. Don't wait for that first fracture to realize it's time to care for your bones. Pay attention early, listen to your body, and take action. That's what makes the difference. And in the next part, I'll take you deeper into the fascinating biology of bones themselves, why they can't hold on by themselves, and what we can do every single day to help them stay strong. The biology of bones, from balance to loss. Imagine your body as a construction site that never stops working. Every day, silent workers are on duty, some are builders, others are cleaners inside your bones. There's a delicate balance between two teams. Osteoblasts, the builders that create new bone, and osteoclasts, the demolition crew that clears out the old bone to make room for the new. In our youth, the builders usually outpace the cleaners, and the structure of our bones grows stronger year by year. But according to the Mayo Clinic, by around age 35, this process starts to reverse. Destruction overtakes construction, and little by little, we begin to lose bone mass. That isn't a punishment from time. It's simply biology at work. For women, the shift becomes even sharper at menopause. When estrogen levels drop, a hormone that normally slows the demolition crew and supports the builders, bone breakdown speeds up dramatically, while rebuilding can't keep pace. Scientists estimate that during the early years of menopause, women can lose 10 to 12% of their bone density, and by ages 50 to 80, as much as 30% overall. Some studies even show that every 5 years after about age 45 to 49, the risk of osteoporosis nearly doubles. A story to bring it home. Let me tell you about Linda, a 58-year-old woman who came to see me with mild back pain. She thought it was just a muscle strain, nothing serious. Then one day, while bending to pick up something light, she suddenly couldn't straighten back up. The diagnosis, a vertebral fracture. Her bone density scan showed significant loss. That one simple movement, just a bend forward, was proof that the demolition crew had outworked the builders. The lesson bones whisper to us. Bones aren't just a rigid frame. They're living tissue, always being renewed, and when that balance tips too far, we're not helpless. We can slow the process down. Weight-bearing exercise, like walking or lifting light weights, stimulates osteoblasts, the builders, to get back to work. Even something as simple as walking with a weighted vest not only strengthens your muscles, but also knocks on the door of your bones, urging them to rebuild. And of course, bones can't build without materials. Calcium, vitamin D, protein, these are the bricks and mortar. Without enough, you're asking the builders to raise a house with no cement and no light. A question for you. Have you ever wondered, why don't our bones protect themselves while we still feel healthy? Is it because we're too confident? Or because we haven't looked closely enough inside? And here's the real question. Do we want to start rebuilding today, not for anyone else, but for ourselves? A gentle reminder. The biology of bones teaches us something hopeful. Bone loss is not the end. It's a quiet signal from your body saying, care for me again. And the truth is, bones can recover if we give them the right fuel and the right reason, through movement and nourishment. And from here, we'll go deeper into that journey. How to nourish your bones through food, movement, and prevention, so you don't just hold on to strength, but live each day with confidence and wholeness. A nutrient-rich diet. From the video to the reality in America. Do you remember the last time you really paused and looked into your fridge? Not just to grab something quick, but to ask yourself, What do I actually need for myself right now? Today, I want to invite you to open that fridge with me, not just to eat for survival, but to eat for something deeper, to build the very foundation that holds up every step you take. Essential nutrients more than just numbers. At our age, 50 and above, the daily requirement for calcium is around 200 milligram. For men between 19 and 70, it's about 1,000 milligram. And just as important, we need 600 to 800 IU of vitamin D each day to help absorb calcium and lower the risk of osteoporosis. But the story doesn't end there. Bones also rely on their partners: magnesium to help carry calcium into bone, protein to build the structure itself, plus vitamin K, phosphorus, and zinc, each playing its unique role. Together, they form the orchestra that keeps our skeletal framework alive and strong. The American reality. Here's the truth. Many Americans still believe that drinking a glass of milk each day is enough. But in reality, most of us aren't getting nearly enough calcium from food, especially those who avoid dairy or struggle with lactose intolerance. That's why we need a smarter mix of natural whole foods and fortified options. For example, just one green smoothie made with leafy greens, fortified plant milk, and a spoonful of chia seeds can deliver up to 676 milligrams of calcium. That's almost 2/3 of your daily needs in one simple glass. Powerful, right? A real-life story, the breakfast that changed everything. I remember Linda, a 62-year-old patient who had once suffered a minor fracture from osteoporosis. Afterward, she began a simple routine. Every morning, a bowl of yogurt topped with almonds, fruit, and a spoonful of chia seeds. She told me, "I never thought it would make such a difference, but day by day, I felt steadier and even brighter in my eyes." It wasn't just calcium. It was the quiet act of caring for herself one breakfast at a time. A small question for you. Have you ever wondered, could a single meal, repeated each day, really be the brick that builds a stronger body? And if food can be our medicine, why not start today right in your own kitchen? The gentle lesson. A nutrient-rich diet isn't just about what you eat. It's the art of combining foods wisely, in ways that fit your life and your body. Don't rush for the supplement bottle first. Start with whole, simple, nourishing foods. That's how we show respect not just for ourselves, but for every living cell in our bones. And in the next part, I'll walk you straight into the world of superfoods, from moringa to chia seeds and beyond, to other powerful additions you can weave into your meals. So each day, you're not just building stronger bones, you're also nurturing a stronger heart and spirit. Superfoods you shouldn't overlook. You know, sometimes the greatest things in life come in the smallest packages. I remember the first time I heard the word superfood. It sounded almost too grand, too far from everyday life. Until I realized that some of these so-called superfoods, moringa, quinoa, sesame seeds, chia seeds, tofu, were right there within reach, sitting quietly on the shelves of our own kitchens. Today, I want to gently open the box of these superfoods with you, not just to list them off, but to show how they walk alongside the very structure of your bones. Moringa, often called the miracle tree in many cultures, has shown in studies that it can reduce bone loss and even encourage bone rebuilding. How? By slowing down the osteoclasts, the demolition crew, and activating the osteoblasts, the builders. It's like watching an old worker set down his hammer, while a new, young builder steps up to continue the job. Moringa leaves are packed with calcium, vitamin C, boron, and magnesium, raw materials your bones may have been quietly craving all along. I remember one patient who added just a spoonful of moringa powder to her morning smoothie. Weeks later, she told me, "I can't explain it, but my back and legs feel steadier." Subtle, but real. Quinoa and chia seeds. Next come quinoa and chia, two tiny but powerful allies. Quinoa is a complete protein, rich in lysine, magnesium, and phosphorus, feeding your bones from the inside out. And chia seeds, though so small, form a kind of protective shield. Their omega-3s fight inflammation. Their fiber and minerals nurture bone cells, keeping them alive and resilient. I like to think of them as cousins in the same family, keeping the flame alive at your bone construction site. Sesame seeds. Then there's sesame, familiar, perhaps even ordinary, but extraordinary for your bones. One spoonful contains more calcium than a glass of milk, plus zinc, magnesium, and special compounds called lignans that help your body use what it absorbs. Toast them lightly, grind them gently, and sprinkle them on a meal, and you've just poured invisible bricks into the foundation of your frame. Tofu, and tofu soft, humble, yet so powerful. Just 200 grams can give you more absorbable calcium than 3 glasses of milk. And beyond that, it's a complete protein with isoflavones that support women through menopause, when bone loss often accelerates. I've seen many older Americans gradually shift from heavy animal proteins to tofu. What they noticed wasn't just lighter digestion, but more flexibility, less joint pain, and a sturdier sense of strength, like finding a softer, yet stronger foundation underfoot. A question to reflect on. If you could invite these bone builders like moringa and tofu to your table each day, why let your construction site go without workers? Are a spoonful of seeds or a simple serving of tofu really too small to matter? The gentle lesson: superfoods aren't super if they sit on a shelf. They become super when you weave them into your life, consistently, patiently. Each spoonful, each slice, that's you feeding your bones with love. And the truth is, it's not about rushing. It's about walking slowly, allowing these simple, natural gifts to walk with you into a longer, steadier life. And in the next part, we'll open the door to even more bone-strengthening foods that are easy to find here in the U.S. Canned salmon, almonds, leafy greens, and how to blend them into your meals so each bite doesn't just taste good, but also builds strength in every cell of your bones. Top 5 bone-boosting foods, nutritious and easy to find in America. Did you know your body has been built, brick by brick, with golden materials from nature itself? I remember John, one of my 70-year-old patients, who discovered that everyday foods like canned salmon, prunes, almonds, leafy greens like kale, and even tahini could become his daily allies. He added them to his kitchen one by one, and over time, each meal felt like placing an invisible stone into the foundation of his bones. Let's take a closer look. 1. Canned salmon with soft bones. It might surprise you, but one of the most powerful bone foods comes in a can. Just 3 ounces of canned salmon with those soft, edible bones gives you around 180 milligrams of calcium, plus vitamin D, protein, and omega-3 fatty acids. That's a perfect trio, building bone, improving absorption, and protecting bone cells. Dietitians often say this humble salmon rivals milk, and in many ways, it's even better because of its balanced nutrition. 2. Prunes. Who would have thought something as simple as dried plums could strengthen bones? A study in postmenopausal women showed that eating 5 to 6 prunes a day helped maintain bone density in the hip by reducing inflammation and stimulating bone growth. So, prunes aren't just a snack. They're a quiet, secret weapon against osteoporosis. 3. Almonds. A small handful of almonds, about 1 ounce, contains nearly 190 milligrams of calcium, along with magnesium and protein. One of my patients once told me her favorite ritual was slicing an apple and dipping it into almond butter each evening. She said, "It feels indulgent, but I know I'm feeding my bones. A simple pleasure. A powerful habit." 4. Leafy greens, kale. Collards. Leafy greens are calcium's best friends. 1 cooked cup of collard greens provides about 266 milligrams of calcium, with kale not far behind. And here's the key. Unlike spinach, which has high oxalates that block absorption, kale and collards are much easier for your body to use. A bowl of sautéed greens is not just tasty, it's like giving your bones a gift. 5. Tahini sesame paste. If you enjoy nut butters, don't overlook tahini, a creamy paste made from sesame seeds. It's rich in calcium, magnesium, and phosphorus. Just 1 spoonful whisked into a salad dressing with lemon juice can add flavor and bone strength in 1 bite. A gentle story to reflect on. Grace, a 68-year-old woman who couldn't tolerate dairy, once worried she'd never get enough calcium. I suggested kale, almonds, and tahini. A few months later, she smiled and said, "I never thought I'd enjoy tahini so much. It's delicious, and I feel lighter on my feet." Small swaps, but profound changes. A question for you. Do you believe that by changing just a few simple ingredients in your kitchen, you could begin protecting your bones every single day? It doesn't have to be complicated. It's about choosing the right foods consistently. The small lesson: food isn't only fuel. It's how we care for every single cell in our bodies. When your pantry holds foods like canned salmon, prunes, almonds, leafy greens, and tahini, you're giving yourself a gift far greater than taste. You're investing in bones that will carry you through life with strength. And in the next part, we'll take a closer look at common mistakes in eating and how to fix them. Because often, it's not just about missing nutrients, but about how we're using them. And my friend, if today's conversation has felt meaningful to you, don't forget to hit like, leave me a comment about which food you'd like to try first, and make sure you subscribe to the channel. That way, you won't miss part 2 where we'll dive deeper into the everyday secrets of bone health, so your later years can be steady and free. I'll see you in the next video.